Would you eat on $1 a day on purpose? Would you sleep on an office floor for a year? Would you walk out of Stanford 2 days after you walked in? Would you bet every dollar you have on an internet almost nobody is using yet? Would you starve to keep something alive that hasn't paid you a cent? Palo Alto, 1995. This is Elon Musk. He is 24 years old. Before Tesla, before SpaceX, before he sold his first company. The answers start here, in an empty office, with a hot dog and a bun. One question drives this whole story, and it's the one nobody thinks to ask. Previously on Elon, First Principles, a 12-year-old in Pretoria made $500 from a video game he coded himself and didn't spend a single cent of it. Today, that same kid is 24, he's in Palo Alto, and the $500 is almost gone. Late 1995, the internet is brand new, most businesses don't have websites, Netscape just went public, the whole tech world is vibrating. Elon Musk, fresh off leaving Stanford's PhD program after 2 days, is standing in a pay phone booth in Palo Alto, calling his brother Kimball in Toronto.
I need you to come out here.
What happened to Stanford?
I left. The internet is happening right now. Every day I spend in a classroom is a day someone else builds what I'm thinking about.
What are you thinking about?
Newspapers, they don't know where they're going online. We build the platform, city guides, maps, business directories, and license it to them. Every city, every paper.
How much money do we have?
Almost nothing, but we don't need much. I can code the whole thing myself. I just need you to knock on doors.
When do you need me there?
Yesterday.
Kimball flew out within weeks. No venture capital, no angel investors, no savings, just an idea and the willingness to live like they had nothing. The office was barely big enough for 2 desks and a filing cabinet. They rented it because it was the cheapest thing they could find. They didn't rent an apartment. Let me say that again. They did not rent an apartment. They slept in the office, on the floor between the desks.
An apartment costs at least $600 a month. That's $600 not going into the company. The floor is free. The floor works.
They had one computer. During the day, Elon coded on it for 12, 14, sometimes 18 straight hours. At night, he'd unroll his sleeping bag next to it, fall asleep on the carpet, while the server was still running.
You know, most people at least have a mattress.
Most people haven't started a company.
Most people who start companies still have a mattress.
We'll get a mattress when we have revenue. Deal.
Deal.
Every morning before coding started, they walked to the YMCA. That's where they showered. Not at home, they didn't have one. At the local YMCA, like teenagers at summer camp, except they were building a tech company. Here's how you live on $1 a day in 1996. Hot dogs, oranges, pasta when you're feeling extravagant. Green peppers sometimes, a jar of pasta sauce, that's a good week. That's the entire menu.
The human body needs roughly 2,000 calories to function. Hot dogs and oranges deliver that for under $1. Everything above $1 is waste. Waste kills startups.
Most people hear that story and think, that's suffering. He didn't see it as suffering. He saw it as math. Every dollar not spent on food went into the company. Every day he survived on less was one more day the company had to find its first customer. In startup language, this is called extending your runway. The runway is how long you can survive before the money runs out. Most startups die when the runway ends before revenue starts. Elon didn't just extend his runway, he made it almost infinite, because when your costs are $1 a day, you can survive for a very long time. And while he was barely eating, he was coding everything, the entire platform, by himself. The front end, the back end, the database, the mapping system, the business directory engine, Every line of code, one person, 18-hour days, one computer.
The map rendering is too slow. If a page takes more than 4 seconds to load, nobody waits. I need to rewrite the location engine tonight.
He didn't hire engineers. He couldn't afford engineers. He was the engineer, and the designer, and the janitor. Kimball's job was different. While Elon coded through the night, Kimball worked the phone during the day, calling newspapers, getting told no. 3 months in, no revenue, no customers, savings almost gone. Kimball comes back from the first investor meeting where they weren't laughed out of the room.
He likes the product. The newspaper model makes sense, but he wants to know one thing.
What?
He wants to know why we don't just get jobs, save 20 or 30,000, come back and do this properly. With salaries, an apartment, and his exact words, basic human dignity.
Because in 6 months somebody else builds this. The window is right now, not in 6 months, now.
He also said we look like we're homeless.
We are homeless, that's the point.
This was the decision, not one big dramatic moment. A quiet choice made every single morning. The decision to not get a job, to not get an apartment, to eat a hot dog instead of a meal. Every single day, the question was the same. Do I spend money on myself or on the company? And every single day, for over a year, the answer was the same.
The company is more important than my comfort. Every dollar I spend on myself is a dollar I'm taking from the thing I'm building. I can be uncomfortable, I cannot be out of money.
And then, slowly, something started to happen. Kimball got a meeting, not a phone call, an actual sit-down meeting with a newspaper editor.
So you want to put our business directory onto the internet?
We build it, we host it, you brand it. A licensing fee far less than building it internally.
How many other papers are doing this?
Right now, none. That's the opportunity.
The editor didn't say yes that day, but he didn't say no. And not no was the first real signal that what Elon had been building at 3 a.m. on $1 a day actually worked. The first real customer signed, then another, small papers at first, then bigger names. Papers that covered entire cities. The Chicago Tribune, the New York Times.
The Tribune signed, 2 million daily readers will use the platform. That proves it scales, that proves the model works. Now I need more servers.
Within a year, Zip2 had gone from 2 brothers sleeping on a floor to a company with real clients and real revenue. Major newspapers, paying to use the product. The hot dogs had worked, the sleeping bag had worked, the $1-a-day strategy wasn't suffering, it was a weapon. Here's what this episode is really about. Not a man who was too cheap to buy dinner, not a founder who enjoyed sleeping on floors. It's about one principle, maybe the most important financial principle anyone building anything can learn. Reduce your burn rate to survive longer. The lower your expenses, the longer your runway. The longer your runway, the more shots you get. Elon didn't live on $1 a day because he had to. He lived on $1 a day because he understood something. Your expenses are not fixed, they're a choice. Every dollar you choose not to spend on comfort is a dollar that buys you time. Time to build, time to fail, time to try again. You might be cutting expenses right now, eating cheap meals, sleeping on someone's couch, wondering if it's worth it.
Every day the company survives is one more day it has to win. Make the days as cheap as possible. Give it as many days as you can.
The fancy word for this is capital efficiency. The simple word for this is survival. And survival, it turns out, is the most underrated strategy in business. If this is resonating, follow BudgetSketch. Next episode, the investors show up with $3.6 million, and they take something Elon didn't realize he was selling. Zip2 was working, newspapers were signing up, revenue was growing, and then the investors showed up. Not small angels, real venture capitalists, men in expensive suits who walked into that tiny office looked at the sleeping bags on the floor.
We'd like to put in $3.6 million.
$3.6 million. For two brothers who had been living on hot dogs and floor space, that number sounded like a miracle. It meant real salaries, real employees, real offices, no more YMCA showers, no more sleeping bags, but here's what Elon didn't fully understand yet. When someone gives you $3.6 million, they don't just give you money, they take something. They took the majority stake. They took the CEO seat. They brought in a professional CEO to replace Elon. The company he built with his bare hands, line by line, hot dog by hot dog, he no longer controlled it. That's episode 3. $3.6 million walked through that door, and Elon Musk lost something he didn't know he was selling. The person who writes the check gets to write the rules. Follow BudgetSketch and I'll see you there. Episode 3 is right here. Gesture toward card and drop your answer below. What's one expense you'd cut tomorrow if you were betting everything on yourself?